4 kills for BDK Kid. Will he get the 5th one?
But a big shatter from Juco High takes the play from O again, putting the Jack
Invictus wins the match.
Massive blossom from Klaus getting into the back
An
line.
impressive job there by Enfius Gaming. Really
Full hold for Careless Panda.
Alt F4 puts the close.
Crimson picked up a third. Can he get a fourth?
First one will be rocking with the death blossom, pick up 1.
And now we see the Shadow Sepulchre triage coming down with the death blossom.
Got 3 on the point now, and inside.
Holy Jalapeno just rolled straight.
Confusing Maxis on the soldier.
That's Karma's gonna take up this victory.
The top block picks up 3.
There will be illusion.
Arise, finds 3 in the fight against
A full 6K for Shamanzi.
Finding 4 with the death blossom.
And now you better back down, cause I'm coming for you. Better back down, cause I'm coming for you. Better back down, cause I'm coming for you. Better back down, cause I'm coming for you.
Welcome everybody to the Iris Podcast. I am Ski Free Yeti, joining you today with NPC, Nixall, and Specs. Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We have a pretty loaded cast, so we're going to dive right in. And we're going to start off with breaking down some of this exciting playoff action that's been going on. Some definite upsets, some surprises, some maybe not so surprising things to some people here. But start off with that wild card round from a couple weeks back. That first kickoff match featured the Minty Hippos taking on Jetpack Cats. Jetpack Cats dealing with some unfortunate rostering issues right at the end, but went down 2-0 up against Mini Hippos. And I heard there was something that happened there. NPC, you wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
No. They had this like surprise all-star player show up. Probably the best main tank in the whole of Harmony tier show up and fill in, and they ended up pulling out a pretty good series and making that win.
Oh, Teractin showed up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I just was curious. Yeah, anyways, that match went to 4-3 to Jetpack Cats there. An impressive comeback victory. Interesting substitute situation. Here's the rest of the wild cards. We'll take a moment to talk about them after this. Carlos Panda's also a 4-3 victory over DDoS. We had Prodigious with a big 4-0 dominating victory against Alt F4. That was featured on this channel, by the way. And then Enfius Gaming takes on Invictus and beat them 4-1. Enfius Gaming won that. Guys, thoughts on those wildcard matches? A lot of interesting things going on there. What do you think, Specs?
Prodigious and Enfius won a playoff game. Just let that sink in. But no, at the end of the day, Carlos Panda's DDoS, for me at least, been the match of the playoff so far. Absolutely back and forth, and a dogfight to the end there, and I really enjoyed watching that one. So,
what do you think, Nick?
I won't pass a comment on the Enfius game but Jetpack Cats, kudos to them, man. Huge win. I mean, NPC, just a Chad, just coming in, just, doing what he has to do. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, Careless Pandas showed up when they had to in that game, got the big win, and, yeah.
NPC, any comments, any thoughts?
No, I'm going to agree with Specs. I think Careless Panda's DDoS match was really a good match to watch. You got to see, the actual rosters of those teams duke it out. It was a really good game. Really, really good to watch. Really fun.
I would agree with that. One interesting thing I think that stood out from the wild cards this week is the and I know everybody wants to say, "Oh, NPC, he's the reason they came back and won." Like NPC NPC I think was a motivating factor, but I think the keys on Jetpack Cats right now are 2 players, and that's O and that's Michelin Man. Both of them have been playing out of their minds the past 2 weeks. I've said this on Twitter before, and I'm going to say it again here. I think O is the most underrated player in all of Harmony tier. His Hanzo is borderline GM level good. Like, he's an insanely talented Hanzo. His other DPS heroes are not that far behind. He's a very good DPS. player, he's legitimately capable of putting all of the Jetpack Cats on his back in any given team fight. He kind of has that effect that Smugs had on Otaku last season. Even Otaku went down, Smugs could pick that team up and just say, we're not done. Pull off a 3K. They're back in the fight. They're back and taking it down. And Michelin Man is a really good in-game leader. If you listen to some of his calls, listen to him on their comms, really good. They're playing really good Overwatch right now. I think they're better now when they had Melton upsetting on their team. I think they are. I think they are.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, Melton upsetting, they're great players, but when you have great players on your team, you tend to lean on them quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know because I played on Gravity in season 2. And, when you don't have those players, there's a little bit of a power vacuum for a little while. But I think the team as a whole, the Jetpack Cats as a whole, got stronger and kind of rose to that level.
So anyways, moving on here, guys. Wildcard's very interesting. Let's go to the quarterfinals. We got 8 matches to recap here. We'll start off actually with what happened last night. It was Eclipse versus One Last Ride. Eclipse with a big upset victory. Not just winning it, but winning in a 4-0 sweep. Controlling performance from Eclipse. Meteors take a 4-1 victory over Prodigious. Tough Luck 4-0 over Instalock in what had to have been the most awkward moment of Specs' life. Commit 4-0 over Infius Gaming. He's wearing the sweatshirt. That's weird. Karma loses to Undead Battery 4-1. Illusion takes care of Careless Pandas 4-1. Holy Jalapenos 4-2 in the closest quarterfinal match against Maelstrom. And the big upset that I think caught everybody off guard, 4-0 Jetpack Cats over number 1 seed Vitamin C. Jetpack Cats, a team not anybody, again, gave any chance in round 1 even. Like, the only person who stood behind them conveniently subbed for them, but also is you, NPC. And you didn't predict this. You didn't see this coming.
I didn't really. I wanted to see it. I really did. I thought it could happen, but I didn't. It didn't have a very good chance of happening, but it happened.
It happened.
I mean, this show's about, like, we talk a lot about parity in the Harmony tier, and really, Vitamin C they kept saying, well, we didn't practice for 2 weeks. Well, that's your own fault. I mean, you thought, oh, Jetpack Cats, it's a pushover. We could just sleep in and show up, on game day and expect to win, and that's what happens. You can't take anything for granted. Not even the Jetpack Cats, not the Fighting Potatoes, not the Comets. None of it. You have to prepare. You have to practice, and that was Vitamin C. Vitamin C lost that game on their own. Now, that being said, Jetpack Cats did play out of their minds. Michelin Man, they were pretty insane. They did some really good work on that game, but Vitamin C just didn't prepare.
It was the biggest choke job I've ever seen, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, from Vitamin C. They're a more talented team than Jetpack Cats. They are. They just choked. It's the biggest choke job I've seen in this community ever, especially in the playoffs. Like, there's no way a team like that should be losing in that situation. They have all the chips in their favor. They're the number 1 seed. They had 2 weeks to prep for this. And Jetpack Cats just came in. And it's not just choking in the sense that they lost. If it was 4-3, I'd at least say, okay, you showed up. You had a bad game. That happens. You didn't even show up. Like, Vitamin C, or kudos to Jetpack Cats for taking it to him. Honestly, O is insane. O outdueled the Vitamin C DPS all day. So, Specs, thoughts?
Jetpack Cats didn't win that game. Vitamin C threw it. You don't scrim for 3 weeks. What do you expect? Like, they just hard through. There was no synergy. There was no real grasp of the meta at that point. Jetpack Cats just showed up, and it was enough that night. I don't know if it necessarily translates into their upcoming match here. I think this speaks more to Vitamin C not showing up, not screaming, thinking they could just walk through everything, to be completely honest.
What do you think, Nick?
I kind of have to agree with Specs. I really don't want to take away anything from Jetpack Cats because, I mean, the win's a win. They capitalized. They did what they had to do, and, they advanced. Vitamin C didn't. But I think it was more of Vitamin C throwing the opportunity to advance rather than, Jetpack Cats doing anything different. I mean, they played well. They played really well. But like Spec said, I mean, you don't scrim for 2-3 weeks, you can't go into a playoff match expecting miracles to happen at that point.
So we've talked about this one at length. Anything else from this first round, guys? I will say the Eclipse winning 4-0 over One Last Ride, a little bit surprising. I know you guys all picked against One Last Ride, but did all of you expect it to be a 4-0?
No.
Yeah.
That was a huge sweep by Eclipse. Eclipse won that one. I mean, we talk about the Jetpack Cats kind of, vitamin C through that game, but Eclipse won that game. As much as it pains me to say it, the employee of the month, Cryptic Force, his shields were on point, his accretions were on point. There was a lot of times he saved retreating DPS from certain death. There was just a lot of play, just the shield toggling between the main tank and the the Orisa and the Sigma, and just like all of their work was very coordinated. There were a lot of huge pulls that made Bray, I think, was on Orisa. A lot of pulls that pulled everything together for the Sigma's ultimate, whatever that's called. Death
Gravitic
Blossoms.
Flux?
Graviton Flux, thank you so much. Gravitic Flux. I don't know. It's late. It's past my bedtime.
I know it's not a Reinhardt ability, so you're not sure,
boomer.
but
yeah. So anyway, there was just a lot of good synergy, a lot of good teamwork happening there, and One Last Ride, they tried their best. They didn't throw the game, but Eclipse won it on their own.
Specs, you were throwing some heat there. You expected this, huh? The exact.
I mean, I have 2 words to describe this game, and it's dramatic and irony. That's it.
Well, it was One Last Ride for One Last Ride, indeed. So that being said, let's well, we have a little segment for teams who are no longer with us. We only have 8 teams left in the community that are still playing and vying for the Season 3 championship in 2 tiers. We'll have 2 champions. But we did just lose 12 teams. So I made a little something, a little tribute to remember these teams by. So here we go. You all will truly be missed.
No, you won't.
I heard that Karma hangs out with the hottest dudes.
It depends on the copy pasta.
There you go.
And, I don't care. I'm not one to judge. Y'all can do what you want. But anyways, we bid those teams adieu. Hopefully we'll see you guys at least stick around for season 4. We understand if you don't want to, especially after that. But hey, we like to have fun here. So moving on then to, honestly, the thing that I'm sure a lot of you are here for, and that's the end of season awards. It's been a long season culminating to these playoffs, but for a lot of players, they've kind of stood out on an individual level, either as a player in game, as a good sport, as a community contributor, however they are. This is our opportunity to recognize them. The nominations were collected from members of the community. The votes were taken from our team leadership, and these votes were tallied, compiled into the awards you're seeing here. Each of the awards will be presented as this. There will be the list of nominees. We'll show you the top 2 and then the winner. So no further ado, we're going to start off. Again, these awards are also named after season 2's winners. So we're going to start off with the one tier that isn't, or the one winner that isn't in a tier. It's the NPC award, which goes to the biggest or the best community contributor that is not in the admin team. So it's a person who is contributing to it without being recognized as like an official authority figure for the community. Without further ado, here's that. We have 5 nominees. Again, there's Impers, we have Specs, we have Door, we have Harmony Giant, and we have Kingdom. Our final 2 were Specs and Door, and your NPC award winner, season 3, is Specs.
So I frankly am shocked because I thought everybody thought he was on the admin team.
I'm pretty sure everybody thought he was on the admin team.
Yeah.
So any thoughts from you guys on this one? I'm just going to say Impers got robbed. It's just my feeling on that. I think Specs would probably agree that Impers got robbed. What do you... No, Specs.
Negative.
You deserve this? You deserve this?
I'd like to thank all my fans, especially on Twitter, at SpecsGG on Twitter. I'm a great follow. Let's just be honest. Some family-friendly tweets, never controversial, always, there for the people. So, just thank you.
Richard Lewis himself.
Yeah. So Nick, what do you think?
Impers. If you're watching this, whenever you watch this, I'm sorry that you were robbed of this award. Someone else that I feel should have maybe been nominated for the podcast he was doing, the beat drop, is Juko High.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's some pretty good stuff that he was doing there early on in the season.
Yeah, I think Juko High and Impers, Harmony Giants, Harmony Giant didn't really contribute much in the form of content, but he contributed a lot to our Discord's environment. So shout out to him too. But we have a lot of awards, so we're not going to spend too much further time. We're going to start now in the Discord tier, and we will start off with the best main tank. This is the Silent Monkey Award from Season 2. Your Discord tier nominees were Juko High from Prodigious Cryptic Force from Eclipse, HQC from Meteors, Modern Lion from One Last Ride, and Sir Andy from Commit. And your top 2, HQC and Sir Andy, with the winner, Sir Andy, and from Commit. Don't think anybody was surprised. This is actually by far the biggest margin of victory of any tank on the list, or of any player in any of the categories. He had 80% of the vote. So definite dominant performance there from Sir Andy. I don't think anybody would call that into question. So let's just move right to Off Tank then. Off Tank Kingdom Award. We have Kingdom from Tough Luck, My Big Marf from Commit, Booth from Invictus, Jet from Instalock, and Cool Sam from the Meteors. Your top 2 were Cool Sam and Marf, and your winner is My Big Marf, who was on Commit at the time this poll was taken. There, I got the one shot in today. Now I feel good.
Nice.
You had to get one. You had to get one shot in. So My Big Marf wins the best off tank, much to chat chagrin.
Best part
I
about
think there needs to be a recount on that one.
The best part about this, Marf plays Orisa, and he plays Sigma.
He's the best flex tank now.
Marf?
Okay, Kingdom was robbed. Hashtag Kingdom was robbed. Okay, all right, we'll just get that out. All right, let's go continue on now. We have the Projectile DPS Award, or the Smugs Award. We have Smugs for Tough Luck, Axiom from Commit, Rocket from Eclipse, Pyro from Meteors, Poggers from Harmony in Chaos. Came down to Smugs and Pyro, and your winner is Pyro from the Meteors. Taking down Smugs, last year's MVP and award winner. I figured this one might be a little controversial for you guys. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know. After the results from the last one and the results from this one, I think maybe people are afraid to vote for the same person 2 years in a row. If you know it's the Kingdom Award, you're going to hesitate before voting for Kingdom. You're going to think, you know what? Let's let somebody else win this time. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? When you see things that you think, oh, this person was robbed or this person was close. I could see that. I mean, when you've got 2 or 3 people that are right there up in the top together, Smugs won last year. Let's give it to somebody else. I can see it.
Well, I think Smugs has less of a public profile this season. Even though he's an admin, at least his player ability has less of a public profile. And I just think that's kind of a sad result of some lacking feature matches, honestly. I think that's been a big problem for them. I do think that, honestly, Rocket probably could have been top 2 here, too. I think you could make an argument for Rocket over either of them. I don't necessarily think it's perfect, but I could maybe see that. Do you guys think anything about this here?
Yeah, I think Rocket's more of a hit scan player, to be completely honest. He's playing the Reaper right now in comps, so it's. I mean, that definitely skews it just with the meta.
There's no definition on what plays what in this meta. That's the hard part. That's the hard part about the way our awards are designed for this season. Nobody plays hit scans anymore. Hit scan is meaningless.
It's dead.
So on that note, best hit scan, Peter 6G Award. We have Shiro from Commit, J Vice from Meteors, Legolas One Last Ride, Melts from Invictus, and Soli from Infeus Gaming.
Is Genji a hit scan?
Yeah, I know. Came down to Shiro and J Vice, and your winner was Shiro from Commit. Well, I mean, Melts did win the Harmony tier
mid-season.
The 1v1, so don't forget that. But yeah, hit scan's kind of hard. I think it's just more of a testament to Shiro as a player, I think, than anything else right now. I would put him over anybody on that list. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Yeah, congrats, Shiro, on your award there. Next one is Discord tier support. That is the Arise Award. We have Veets from Tough Luck, Koro from Commit, Unkempt from One Last Ride, Arise from the Meteors, and Sacred Walrus from Instalock. It came down to Veets and Arise. Was NPC right? This time he wasn't. It was Arise from the Meteors, taking it as the second year in a row. Best support. Sounds like it might be a surprise.
I don't know about this one, Chief.
You don't know about this one? You think should have been Veets?
Slightly biased, being his support partner here, but I think there's just significantly. It's not taken away from Arise. I think there's just 4 or 5 support players that are above him at this point.
Wow, 4 or 5.
This isn't a 2800 or a 2650 league anymore. Community. Yeah, it's not a 2650 community anymore. He's playing at a higher level competition. He's still a very, very solid player. I just don't know if he's the best support currently.
I think there's still an argument that could be made for it.
He's in the top 5, yeah.
But I will say that I think honestly there should be more talk about Koro from Commit. Their Lucio play has been a linchpin of that team. Like, it's been a really solid piece of that team. I think Koro is a severely underrated support player. What do you think, guys?
I think some of it comes to, especially for me, like I don't play in Discord tier, so I'm not too familiar with all those players. So Arise was a familiar face for me. But I agree. It's a tough call. I personally probably would have. Don't hate me, but I would have voted against him just for that reason I mentioned before. I want to see somebody else win.
I think a lot of it does come down to name recognition. People just see Arise on there and probably just kind of, for better or for worse, just kind of select him as their top pick or one of their top picks and whatever it may be. But I don't think anyone disagrees that Kuro is a little bit underrated in terms of how maybe not flashy or anything like that, but he's just such a good player.
On top of that, too, I think just the main support role in Discord as a whole is very thin. I think there's 3 or 4 main supports that are kind of head and shoulders above everyone else. So,
You want to name them?
yeah,
Do it.
I can.
Do it.
I'm one of them. Let's be honest. But
shut this man down. Shut this man down.
Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Jesus. Good Lord.
I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the Iris this week, guys. All right. I wanted to see if you would name yourself. That was the only reason.
Oh, absolutely.
Only reason. All right. Move on then. Tim Ojo Award. We have Specs from Tough Luck. We have Ice from Commit. We have Smirk from Invictus. Tim Ojo from Alta 4. And Holly from the Meteors. It came down to, oh no, it's Specs again. Oh God, oh no. And Ice, but thankfully for all of us, Ice won this award from Commit. So congratulations to Ice on this one. That makes 4 awards for Commit out of the first 6 categories here. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Commit's really good. Kind of breaking news there. Maybe catching.
I think the Jetpack Cats can take them.
I'm gonna call that bet.
You made that face last week, Specs.
Yeah, but I mean, there's bold predictions and then there's insanity. Like, I don't know what you put in your Rogue Energy this morning, but you get 10% off, by the way, if you use the code online NPC.
Yeah, use the code NPC to get 10% off.
Anyways, let's move on then. Most improved player in Discord. We have Melts from Invictus. We have Specs from Tough Luck. Bandito from Prodigious. Mr. Trippy Cow from Instalog. And Bubbers from Eclipse. It came down to Specs and Melts. And your winner is Specs from Tough Luck.
Oh,
you hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
I know chat is up in arms right now, and Specs is loving every second of it. Look at that face. Look at that face.
Oh my Lord. I mean, I'm only up 1400 SR from the start of Trank this season. It's fine. It's fine.
Literally boosted.
Literally boosted. Boosted monkey.
I know. It's solo queuing all season. It's been a great boost. I can't have to say it. So, but no. Really happy with the improvement I've made individually, but at the end of the day, these awards are nice to have on the cabinet, but they're not what we're fighting for towards the end of the season here. So definitely take it, but keep looking forward for the team.
No, Specs. I will say, memes aside, Specs has improved a lot this season. He's gone from an absolute joke to at least an acceptable Lucio. So yeah, that's really, if you're an acceptable Lucio, you can climb to like 4.2k right now. So. It's just kind of an honest fact of where the meta's at. So, no, good job, Specs. Congratulations on your second award. Let's move on then.
Wait. Does this mean we have 2 awards named after Specs next season?
No. Specs can only keep one. Otherwise, there would have been 2 awards named after me.
Okay.
So,
I wouldn't be able to handle that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Specs won the award that also was named after me.
Yes.
But I had to give it to the runner-up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So odds are he's going to give up one of those 2. And I think I know which one he's going to give up.
We'll see.
Anyways, Sportsmanship Award. We have the Sneaky Kittens Award. Excuse me. We have Booth, Cool Sam 69, O Stories, Juco High, and HQC. Your top 2 were Cool Sam and HQC, both from the Meteors. Apparently, Meteors are full of good sports. And the winner is Cool Sam 69 from the Meteors.
I'm glad to see Cool Sam win that. I think he was kind of robbed a little bit of the off tank. I mean, maybe not the best, but he's definitely top 2, top 3, and I like to see him get some recognition.
I definitely think as a contributor and as a good dude, definitely deserves some recognition. I don't think anybody will question that. Last, certainly not least, we have your Discord tier coach for season 3. We named this one the Nerdables Award. We didn't have a previous award for it. I went with Nerdables. Makes sense.
Yeah, no question.
Hans from Tough Luck, Dunzo from Meteors, High Newt from One Last Ride, Dimtree, and Handyfap. Your top two were Ons and Dunzo, and your winner is Ons from Tough Luck. Coaching in Discord tier was honestly kind of rough. There was not really very many coaches. That said, I think Specs, you can speak to how useful On's been for you guys.
He's absolutely contributed to me climbing. Incredible mind for the game. He's been around the community or the Overwatch community in general very early on. He's been in GM for a while. Very, very good player, and don't know where he'd be without him. So,
I mean, if he can keep all those big personalities together, I mean, you know, he's got to win something.
Somehow
He's gotta
manages
win
to
something.
do that. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's hard.
That's the end of our Discord tier awards, guys. Let's go to the Harmony tier. We're going to start with the main tank. Silent Monkey Award. We have Teractin from Undead Battery, Crispy from Maelstrom, Stinky Pants from Karma, Yeti from Carol's Pandas, and Player from Illusion. Your top two were Crispy from Maelstrom and Yeti from Carol's Pandas, and your winner was Yeti from the Careless Pandas.
Ooh. Wow.
I think maybe a bit of a surprise because he didn't really play a whole heap at the end of the season, but you have to think his early season impacts were really felt throughout the season. Really made an impact on that team, and then when they were missing him, they really were hurting. What do you? It's kind of interesting. NPC, I know you kind of must feel robbed here.
No, I kind of feel robbed. No, I feel like Crispy is robbed a little bit because I mean his main tank has been very solid all season long. He played every game, and you know he got the most number one votes at the midseason awards, and I just happened to get it because of the volume of number two place awards. So I feel like, you know, Crispy being nominated second place again and then losing to somebody who didn't play half the season, that's gotta feel bad. Nothing against Yeti. I think Yeti does fantastic work when he plays, and he's been playing well. We got to see it in that DDoS match. But I feel really bad for Crispy. I really do, because he's a fantastic main tank.
I'm going to say that the tank who's been most impactful this season is neither of them. I think it's Teractin. I think once Teractin showed up on the Undead Battery, that team's turned a corner. Like, since he's been added to that team, they've been a different team. And we've seen a lot of their players really step up. And I think it's worth mentioning that Teractin deserves a ton of credit. Even though his preference is to play Reinhardt in a non-Reinhardt meta, he still shines with leadership and just with poise. He's got a good competitive spirit. He knows what he's doing. I think Teractin deserves a ton of credit.
Oh, definitely.
Let's move on here, guys. Speaking of impactful additions, by the way, I called this right away when he showed up onto that team. Player, one of the best midseason additions for a team. Helped Illusion kind of turn a corner as well, I think, and become an even better squad than they were before. Would you agree with that, Nick?
100%. Missile was a really great player for us and a huge part of our success last season. You know, him having to step down was unfortunate, but the fact that we had player there to, you know, take the mantle of being just that full-time main tank was insane. And we feel it like every game. You know, a bit of underrated leadership that he brings to the team as well. Doesn't make flashy plays, but makes the smart plays.
All right, let's go to off tank before chat gets riots a little harder. Best off tank Kingdom Award: Mountainfall from Maelstrom, Rubix from Alta 4, Novermac from Vitamin C, Impulse Undead Battery, and Nostramo from the Jetpack Cats. Came down to Novermac and Impulse, and your winner, I think deservedly so, is Novermac from Vitamin C. Novermac played every off tank at the best level in the tier, and I think there are other tanks who individually on certain heroes you could say, yeah, they played very well, but Novermac was the best all season. Honestly, one of the most stable linchpin pieces of that Vitamin C roster.
Some would say the only stable.
Yeah, no, I agree. Impulse, great off tank. I feel like excellent candidate for the most improved category, but you know, when you're talking about somebody that played main tank or off tank consistently all season and every off tank possible, Normac for sure. I can see that.
All right. Projectile DPS, the Smugs Award. No, I will not do an automatic update. We have Polar from Vitamin C, Splinter from Karma, Bard from Boop, Kurt from Illusion, and Show from the Minty Hippos. Your top two were Kurt and Splinter. And your winner is Kurt from Illusion. Took down the mid-season DPS award, and he takes down the end-of-season DPS award. Nick, I think you would probably agree on this one. Definitely the right choice.
Hands down, the right choice. If Kurt did not win that, I would riot on stream.
All right then.
Yep.
Like you alone would riot on stream.
Yep.
Let's do it.
I don't know how, but I would.
So, and by the way, if you're saying why wasn't this person nominated, I asked for everybody to put in their nomination. So if they didn't get nominated, it's on you guys, not me. I didn't pick the nominees. So just keep that in mind next time. Moving on then here, guys. Out of projectile, let's go to the Hitscan Award. Hitscan, Peter 6G Award, Frosty from the Pacified Pythons, Klaus from Minty Hippos, Mallard from Holy Jalapenos, Land Vetter from Karma, Triage from Maelstrom. It came down to Land and Triage, and your winner was Triage from Maelstrom. Triage, definitely one of the big pieces of that Maelstrom roster that had so much success, especially early on this season. Guys, any thoughts on this one here? This one was a very close vote. We had 3 or 4 of these all within a couple votes of each other.
It's tough to play a Widowmaker in the current meta, in the meta that we basically had all season long.
Mm-hmm.
So, that I think that contributes a lot to these players seeing Land and Triage actually pull it off. It's just so hard to play Widowmaker and play that hit scan DPS and the double shield. So we saw a lot of hit scan DPS going over to like Reaper or Symmetra or something like that, and it's just seeing them do that. I think that's why we voted for them, to see them pull off that Widowmaker and do it so well.
We definitely saw more Widowmakers in the Harmony tier too, and I think that just speaks to maybe less comfort in the meta. Certainly, could be. I think there's definitely argument for Landvetter. He was pretty much the best Widowmaker all season in the Harmony tier. But I think you could have gone either way with either of those. And again, this was the closest one. We had 4 players all within 2 votes of each other. So it gives you an idea of how close this one was. Let's go to the Arise Award, Best Support. This one was Cryogenics from Karma, Your Teammate from DDoS, Sushi from Vitamin C, Crossfade from Maelstrom, and Sneaky Kittens from Biting Potatoes. It came down to Sushi and Cryogenics, and your winner was both of them. That's right. We had a tie. This was the only tie award. It goes to both Cryogenics and Sushi. This one was interesting. They've kind of been tied together all season and identified all season as the top supports in the tier. And it's kind of indicative of the success that their teams did have, although let's not talk about how, both of them are now going to be watching the semifinals. It's kind of indicative of how much success they had as players in their teams. But what do you guys think on this one? If you had to pick one of the two, who are you picking?
Cryogenics. Easy.
Cryogenics.
Nick, any thoughts? Struggling?
Sushi. I think Sushi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think legitimately, I think the right way to pick this is just to flip a coin.
It felt wrong to rob one of them, honestly. I was thinking about how to break
on a random chance coin.
Yeah.
I went with Cryogenics because I feel like his support style was a little bit more traditional. I should say, it plays around just about every kind of team. Whereas Sushi's playstyle is significantly more aggressive and does a little bit more, I want to say out of position, but alternate positioning plays that sometimes can put your team in danger. So that's kind of the reason I would go Cryogenics, because his support play is really consistent and stable, and he could just pick up with any stack of 5 and play the same. Sushi seemed to play best with his team, and that's fantastic. But when you're in ranked matchmaking, or whatever, it's a little bit different.
There's a lot of talented players on that list there too, by the way. Your teammate, amazing. Sneaky Kittens, in very good support. Crossfade, hell yeah. Like, I would take all 5 of them on my team in an instant. Really, really talented supports in Harmony tier. Those 5 are just great examples of the quality that we have there. So amazing stuff, guys. Good work, everybody. Next is offensive support in the Harmony tier, the Tomojo Award. We have Mix Ready from DDoS, Capital from Vitamin C, Demo from Undead Battery, Needle, that's a lot of O's, from Holy Jalapenos, and Honey from Illusion. It came down to Mix and Capital, and your winner is Capital from Vitamin C. Now, honestly, real talk here, I'm pretty sure this award came down to whichever Lucio feeds the most. And really, the fact that Needle wasn't considered on there as well, given that is probably an interesting thing too. But basically, the Lucio feed award went to Capital. Mix also feeding Lucio, and Needle also feeding Lucio. Guys, what do you think here? Feeding Lucio awards here. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I can see a feeding Lucio. Cryptic Force told me, he said Reinhardt is a dive tank if you feed hard enough. And that's true with just about every hero.
That is the most Cryptic Force thing I've ever heard in my life.
That hurts. Oh, that hurts.
But it's true. It's true. And, like with Lucio, like you said, it's an offensive award. And in the meta we've got where you want to play Lucio a little bit more.
I'm pretty sure chat just heard you say that, and everybody all at once at home went, yeah, sounds like Cryptic, yeah. That sounds sounds like Cryptic, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, Lucio's always going to be viable in whatever meta it ever is. If you're using your abilities correctly, it's smart. That being said, these 3 hurt to watch play at times. Well, we'll be honest. But if we're talking about feeding Lucio's, yeah, Capital takes it for sure.
Oh yeah, Capital for sure. I was surprised to see Honey on the list. She's a great support player, but I don't see her as an offensive support. Ooh. There's nothing offensive about Honey whatsoever.
We're just gonna ignore Nick's response. No.
Nick is like, wait.
Her Battle Mercy is top tier.
Okay,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to point out
you.
Mallard, again, taking expert level shots, this time in Twitch chat, saying, today I learned that best means no playoff wins. So, rip to Mix and Capital on that one. Ouch, that one stings a little. Let's move on then. We're going to go to the Sportsmanship Award in the Harmony tier. Again, the Sneaky Kittens Award. We have Beth Khan from the Holy Jalapenos, Solitary Bird from Fighting Potatoes, Nick from Illusion, Kuchikopi from Undead Battery, and Cinnamon from the Jetpack Cats. It came down to Beth Khan and Solitary Bird, and your winner is Beth Khan from the Holy Jalapenos. I think everybody can speak in general that Beth is an enjoyable person to play with or against, correct?
Absolutely.
Was Nick robbed?
You're great, Nick. Nick, you weren't robbed. Not even close.
No, not even close.
I don't think so.
Even Nick himself.
No, the photograph of Nick. Now that's top tier.
Yes.
I don't know why it wasn't nominated.
That should have been the nomination.
The real nominee.
He's wearing the same shirt.
He is. I actually just overlaid the photo, and there's some lighting.
No difference.
There's some lighting differences. There's some lighting differences, but it works. It works. So
yeah. The photograph of Nick. Okay, top tier.
Top tier podcast memes, guys. Top tier podcast memes. All right, let's move on then. Next on the list is the most improved player in Harmony tier. We have Crispy from Maelstrom, Delivery from Jetpack Cats, Impers from Undead Batteries, Kurt from Illusion, and your teammate from DDoS. Came down to Crispy and Impers, and your winner was Impers. Again, Crispy comes in second, but Impers, the improvement this season. I don't know if necessarily this is much of an improvement as a player that I'm seeing in Impers, but I'm seeing leadership improvement in getting that team together. I can see some eyes rolling from Specs, though.
Impers, I love the dude. Really good player, but he's always kind of been known as a good player. I mean, he would have had to go to the best player in the tier for me, in my opinion, to be most improved. For me, though,
compliment. Okay.
I mean, as a leader, absolutely. That's invaluable. Absolutely critical to a team success. Just as a player, I don't know if that's it for me.
I think Crispy was kind of in the same boat. He went from one level in season 2 to another level in season 3, but I didn't see like an arc during season 3 where he like got better and got better and got better. He played well consistently. Better than he did in season 2, but well consistently. I think Impers it's a little bit of the leadership qualities, but I feel like when he joined Undead Battery, he was kind of so, but being in the leadership position, being with that team, it propelled him, and he started growing that first 5 weeks that he was with the team. So
Imper stonks rose as the season went on. Crispy stocks just were already high. He was like Microsoft. He was already right here. Crispy was kind of like a Facebook thing. Like he came, or not Crispy, sorry. Imper's kind of like a Facebook thing. He started really low, and he started climbing up throughout the season. And it's the notoriety thing.
Impers in the chat. It's tomorrow morning for Impers right now.
Exactly. It is tomorrow
morning.
He's in Japan right now.
Impers is a time traveler.
The thing is, like, I kind of agree in the sense that, like, Impers, like, he's climbed in terms of how good he's been, but he's reached a point where at mid-season, like, he's capped, like, there, I would say. Like, he's improved from the beginning to now, but has there been an improvement since mid-season up until now? No, because he's just that good of a player.
My person who I actually think got robbed is your teammate. I'm just gonna say
absolutely.
That. Like your teammate, I think is legit. There's a case that could be made for him as being one of the best supports in Harmony tier right now. He went from the beginning of the season, or the end of last season, I should say. He went from being kind of a mid-tier support on a low-tier team to being one of the best supports in the whole tier on a playoff team. Like he was a integral part of the success that DDoS did have. He was a vocal leader. Like, I think your teammate is kind of getting robbed today, and I hope when people are voting their all-star picks, I thought your teammate. I'm going to put my official endorsement out for your teammate. There's only 6 support slots. I suggest one of them be your teammate. Not actually your teammate. You can't vote for your teammate, but you can vote for your teammate. Anyways.
Aha! Clear. Perfect.
Yes, perfectly clear.
Boomer jokes, baby. Boomer jokes.
Shut up, Specs.
I'm a zoomer, technically. It's
fucking
fine.
Zoomers, I swear to God. All right, let's move on then. Last but certainly not least, we have your Harmony Tier Coach Award. Your Coach Award is Smugs from Karma, Chaplain from Maelstrom, Spooderman from the Holy Jalapenos, Titan Man from Undead Battery, and Roman from Careless Pandas. It came down to Smugs from Karma and Chaplain from Maelstrom. And the winner is Chaplain for Maelstrom. Now, Chaplain coached the team that shall not be named last season. And this season, continued to coach for them.
Oh.
I'm not trying to say anything, but it's clear that there was some obvious improvement with those players. So, Chaplain, definitely a big part of that team. There's a lot of good coaches in the Harmony tier, for the record. A lot of good coaches in the Harmony tier. Like, I think that's one thing that can't be overlooked is, Discord tier, there was a lack of coaching depth. Harmony tier, there was a lot of coaching depth. I think a legitimate case could be made for all 5 of those coaches to be the top coach.
To me, the best coach isn't even there. So,
who's the best coach?
I think it's Prox. Absolutely think it's Prox.
Prox for Illusion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick, do you feel the same way?
Listen, there was one reason that I didn't bring it up, and it's not because I doubt Prox. Prox is amazing, and he's helped us be where we are right now. It's the fact that we haven't utilized him as much as we should have.
Sure. I'm going to give my shout out to Smugs. He's a big piece of keeping Karma together this season, so Smugs deserves a ton of credit as a coach for helping us get to the success that we did have getting to the 3rd seed. Now, granted, both the top 2 coaches didn't result in any playoff wins, so both Smugs and Chaplain can enjoy the rest of the playoffs from the
best
clubhouse
means
here.
no playoff wins.
Yes, well, actually, Smugs can continue to enjoy the semifinals as a player, but anyways, that's how these things go sometimes. Yeah. All right, last That's the final award in the Harmony tier, guys. That is the end of all of the awards. Congratulations to all of our award winners. We do still have the All-Stars. They're still being voted on. If you haven't voted and you finished the season or are currently an active player on a team, you can vote for All-Stars in your tier. To reiterate, you cannot vote for one of the players on your team. You can vote for your teammate, the player, your teammate, but you cannot for a teammate player.
Unless you're on your teammate's team.
Yes. So that was for Specs right there. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about the thing that you're actually here for. So let's face it, there are 24 teams that aren't playing anymore, guys. Some of these teams maybe not play, they've been not playing for a while. Some of these teams just recently. You're probably wondering, how can I be a part of Tranquility in Season 4? Well, if you're interested in that still, make sure you're mentioning it to Calf, make sure you're mentioning it to Thug, depending on the tier you're looking at. You know, we're not really taking official applications yet, but something to look at, something to start talking about, plan things out. What I bet you really want to know about is what SRs are going to be for each tier. Well, I prepared some slides to show you that, a nice little presentation. We're going to make sure that these get clipped out so we can post them so people can see them on demand. But anyways, here are the slides. So here are the big changes for Season 4. First off, qualifying SR will be based on your season's peak SR, not current. To reiterate, it will be based on the current season peak, not your current SR. That is an important distinction. The idea behind this is to eliminate any question of somebody throwing their SR down to a qualifying level. You will be using your cap only. If your SR in the past 5 seasons exceeds a tier ceiling, you can no longer play in that tier. So if in season 16 you had an SR at 3050, and season 16 is within 5 seasons, this includes the current season, you cannot play in the Harmony tier anymore. So again, the idea behind that is that way it avoids the idea of throwing, it avoids the idea of people who shouldn't be playing in that tier playing in that tier. We want people to play where they should be playing, not where they shouldn't be. Here's the biggest change. You can role lock to a specific role SR. We will explain that in a few minutes here. So let's move on through the slides. Season 4 tier breakdown. We have the Harmony tier is remaining the exact same. No changes. The Discord tier, we're opening it up a little bit. 3,000 is the base. 3,800 was the high end with a max average at 3,400. The Transcendent tier is our new tier that is our open tier. The minimum tier average, again, to reiterate, the minimum tier average for that team average for that tier is 3,401. You can play in the open tier with a lower SR if you want, but your team average has to exceed 3,401. Reason why is we don't want you getting stumped. Shouldn't need to explain that. So
okay.
Anyway.
Everyone's my hopes. I was gonna.
Yeah, I know. Specs, you have something to say?
If you're under 30, if
you're under,
I want to say if you're under 3,400 and playing in Transcendent, evaluate some things there.
Yeah, I have questions.
I'll leave that there. Yeah.
So, anyways,
yeah.
Here are the SR lock rules here, guys. So this is the key thing. So you can lock your SR in as one of two ways. Either you can lock in as a flex player, which is your highest peak SR, similarly to how it currently works. You use your current SR, and that's how you lock in. So this one next season is for your peak. Your peak, your highest SR across all 3 roles. You lock in with that. You can play all 3 roles. However, the secondary way to lock in next season is the role-specific lock-in. The way that works, you can use your peak SR for only that role. However, let's face it, there is a reasonable level of game sense you acquire playing in higher level matches. So in order to accommodate for that, we do have a little bit of it's called the greater than 500 rule. That's what I've called it. So if your peak SR for the locked role is greater than 500 SR away from your highest peak, your SR is your highest peak minus 500. Sounds a little complicated, but we have examples to show you here. So just stay with me for just a moment while we're looking at that. Here's some examples of SR locking. Player A has 3 SRs displayed on the screen here. Tank at 2800, DPS at 2600, support at 2900. They want to lock in as a flex role. That player's locked SR is 2900, and they can play any one of those 3 roles for Tranquility matches. Simple enough. Follows the same path we're currently using. Player B has a tank SR of 3100, DPS SR of 2700, and a support SR of 2650. Player B, however, only wants to play support. Their SR locked is then locked to 2650, and the player B must play support only throughout their entire time in official Tranquility events.
Okay.
Then last but certainly not least, player C. Tank SR 3400, DPS SR 2600, support 2700. However, this player only wants to play DPS. Their SR will automatically be locked to 2900. Again, this is due to that greater than 500 rule. The idea is, again, adjusting for game sense. That's the idea behind that. So, makes it a little bit harder for GM level support players to play plat DPS, for instance. Just throwing examples out there.
I'm attacked.
So you kind of get what I'm saying there on how that would function for how SRs are going to be qualifying for this season. We wanted to be a little bit more forgiving on how we get players in. That's why we're doing the role lock DPS, because it encourages players to be able to play in different areas that they wouldn't normally play in, and they wouldn't be discouraged from playing in a place where they wanted to work on their tank or they wanted to work on their DPS. And they're 400 behind their support, but their support is in Discord, but they know they can't play Discord level DPS. So it gives a little bit more flexibility, and that's how that's going to work. So that is, in the end, how this will all work. Again, guys, I know this might be a little complicated. In the end, it's going to make a lot of sense, and we think it's going to be the best way to handle things. Do any of you three have questions you want me to address here?
I don't necessarily have a question for you to address, but thinking about this, I assume that a lot of team captains and team leaderships are listening to this right now, taking notes. Role lock is going to be a double-edged sword. Yes, it will allow you to bring in someone that you like to play with you in that off role. But if you get into a situation like, for example, say the Jetpack Cats are in, and you have 2 or 3 players missing, and you have all 3 support players here, and you have all 3 DPS players, and you don't have any tank players, if your players are role locked, you forfeit. You can't. You have to forfeit because you don't qualify to bring in a sub because you have 6 players, but your 6 players are all role locked.
Yep.
And you'll put yourself at a disadvantage that way if you have like 2 or 3 players that are flex and they're not terribly competent at some others. So be very, very careful when you pick up a role locked player. Make sure that it's someone that you know you can either rely on to be there every week, or you know that everybody else is going to be there every week.
Right. You have to be careful. You really have to be careful. And that's going to be the big thing. And honestly, I'm going to highly recommend players, if you're doing a 6-person roster, you're taking a huge risk to begin with. Something to keep in mind.
Not a 6-player roster, but even if you had, 7 or 8, even if you have 8 players, when you have 2 of them out, if your other 6 are role locked.
So sorry, go on.
I was just going to add, I think at one point we have talking about the roster numbers. This makes it even harder. Like we're saying, we have 9 roster players on Illusion, and I think for one of our featured matches, we had to bring in a ringer. And that's without people being role locked. So this is going to take a lot more planning on team captains and GM side.
There's going to be a metagame within roster building.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Sure. That's what I'm going with here.
Roster building. Caution everybody. Roster building is going to be way more challenging now. So just something to think about. You need to be smart about how you're building your roster. And the key thing is, somebody mentioned the minimums for SRs. So if your players are below the minimum floor, if you have a silver level player wanting to play in Harmony or a high plat wanting to play in Discord, they can. Their SR is just automatically elevated to whatever level the floor is. So if he was 2,900, he'd be 3,000 lock in. If he was 2,500, he'd be 3,000. If you have a silver player, he'd be locked in at 2,000.
Let's call
Right.
it the Cavalier rule per se.
Ouch, savage.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring up Mr. Trippy Cow. He joined Instalock, late into the season because they needed a main tank, and he was at 2750, something like that.
Right.
He joined them because they saw potential. He played with them a bit, and now he's at like 3100.
Right.
So it's.
And just to make everybody aware, we are not officially putting teams onto a list yet. There is not an official group of teams that are going to be playing. There are a lot of teams who we don't even know what their intentions are for next season that we're still working on getting. So keep that in mind. If you're a team captain and you haven't communicated what your intentions are to your tier director, you should do that. Highly recommended. What's going to probably happen, or what's going to most likely happen, is after the season ends, there'll be about a week buffer period where we'll have current teams be able to identify what they're going to be doing. After that, it'll be current community players who will be able to talk about creating teams, and then outside teams. That's more than likely what's going to happen. So again, if you have an intention of playing or an intention of doing something, you should really let Cav know or Thug know right now. The sooner the better. See, somebody's going to NPC right now.
Somebody's knocking on my door.
Somebody's
I don't
knocking
know.
on his door to tell him what they're going to be doing, which is weird because you should be talking to Thug or Cav, not NPC.
Yeah, don't come to me. You can come to me, but I won't be able to do anything.
Exactly. Thug or NPC, or Thug or Cav, not NPC.
Oh,
So-
it's Alayla. She's here, right in the middle of the podcast. You want to come in and say hello?
No.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, it's really the podcast.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
fine.
I'm sorry, that was amazing. Do you want to say hi? No.
No.
Well, you know what? I'm only mildly offended.
And she locked my dog in here. Now my dog's like looking at the door.
That
going,
was about as many wins for us. That was about as many wins for us as Boop had this season. So.
Oh, ouch.
She can listen to that one later. Anyways, so guys, again, that is our season 4 plan right now. Things are always subject to change. I don't see any big changes from what I've just described there, but we're trying to make the community a little bit more accessible to people. And the biggest thing that we want to have happen next season is we're focusing on these shorter seasons that are faster paced, more meaningful games. And really, we want to just kind of we want to amp up the hype factors a little bit. Just kind of bring everything to an 11. Shorter seasons. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for the season 4 changes. And so far, the reception has been almost entirely positive, and I'm really excited to see you guys kind of getting back behind us here. Oh, Nick is gone. Okay, fixing that.
Put the picture.
Yeah, we need the picture. So he's back.
MVP right there. Both tiers.
Yeah, both tiers MVP right there. So anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up here with the predictions of our final 4 matches here. For the semifinals, we're going to start in the Harmony tier. The Jetpack Cats, the number 9 seed. Will the heroic run of the Cats continue against the Holy Jalapenos?
Yes, it will.
You think?
Yes, it will.
NPC, you're calling it?
I believe in you, Cats.
I'm waiting for you to rip off the shirt, but nope, not today.
Not today.
Not
This
today.
is the shirt.
This is the shirt. All right, Nick isn't here, so let's go Specs.
This is going to be a stomp. This is going to be ugly. It's going to be real ugly.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, jalapenos are going to wipe the floor here. Absolutely. I know Yojak back in coaching is nice, and Jetpack Cats have had a great run in the playoffs so far. I just don't see this being competitive.
You know, now that you've said that, you've spoken into existence. You've awakened.
Oh, I know.
You've awakened the power of anime.
Yeah.
I'm leaning jalapenos here. It sucks because I'm picking between 2 of my favorite teams to follow this season. 2 of my favorite groups of peoples. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Holy Jalapenos 4-3, and I'm so sorry.
4-3. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. I think the Cats would be happy with that, but I believe.
I'm so sorry I just can't. I feel so bad. But we've awakened the power of anime that's now behind them. Yojak, he can bring that team to another championship. So just saying, just speak it into existence and it will happen. Illusion taking on Undead Battery, number 2 seed taking on the number 6 seed. What do you think here, NPC? You predicted Undead Battery winning the championship before. Are you going to continue to follow through on that?
I did. I think they can do it. Now, here's the deal. They don't have Impers. As far as I know, he will not be back in time for that game. I believe they've rescheduled it at least once. I don't know if he'll be back in time, but if he's back, they're going to have a lot better chance. It's going to be a lot easier. Not necessarily from his off-tank play, because they've got off-tanks they can fill. But his leadership and his guidance is something that they need. I feel like they can do it, and they have to stick together. They have to stay positive, and that's something that Impers helps them do. But as long as they kind of keep their themselves like under control and they keep themselves focused, that's how they win this. Illusion, they're no slouches. They took down Vitamin C. When Vitamin C was actually playing. So I think it's gonna be tough, but I feel like Undead Batteries can do it.
Specs, what do you think?
For me, this is very patch dependent. It's tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, correct?
I think it's affirmed for Wednesday.
Okay. It depends if that patch comes out tomorrow. I think if that patch comes out tomorrow, it plays into Battery's hands fantastically. You'll see a return for Reinhardt, and with that alone, I think that makes Undead scary. That being said, though, I don't know if it's going to be in yet. If it is in, Battery win. If it's not, Illusion win. I think it goes 6-7 maps, though, either way.
Titan Man is a Mercy one trick. I was told to say that by somebody.
Anyways, a little washed Mercy.
Yeah, a washed Mercy one trick. Anyways, thank you, Tor. The person that the team that I think is going to take this is Undead. I think Undead takes this one 4-2. It's not just the meme of picking against Illusion. Undead really impressed me when we played against them. And Tarakton is a huge part of that, but again, it's the succeeded improvement of Crimson that continues to blow my mind on that team. I tried out Crimson twice, and I turned him down. And I honestly regret it. He has turned into an absolute freaking powerhouse DPS. His Reaper is insane. He's playing at a top-notch level.
Did I just hear you vote against this again, Yeti?
No, I never would do that. Anyways, moving on then, out of the Harmony tier, you missed the Jetpack Cats and Holy Jalapenos. Who'd you pick? Go.
Holy Jalapenos. I think it's gonna be like a 4-2, 4-3. I think it goes the distance, but I think Jalapenos take it.
All right, that match, by the way, Jetpack Cats versus Holy Jalapenos is on the 5th of December, and Illusion versus Undead Battery is currently scheduled for the 27th of November. Those are the currently planned days. We will be featuring both of those matches. Discord tier, we have Meteors taking on Eclipse. Eclipse, will the Cinderella run continue for Eclipse, or do they get clipped here? NPC, what do you think?
Oh God, this one is probably the toughest one for me because I love the Meteors. I believed in the Meteors since the very, very beginning. But Eclipse are on a hot streak right now. I think what's going to hurt Eclipse is that, from what I understand, they're down to a 6-man roster. Maybe they've got one more, but they've dropped a couple of players, and I think that predictability is going to catch up to them here. I'd like Eclipse to win. I really would, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Meteors. I think it might go the distance, but I think it's going to be Meteors.
What do you think, Specs?
To me, this is also very meta dependent. This is leaning towards being on the new patch. I would say 99% certainty with that.
Yeah, this Eclipse is 12-4 for the date. So
this Eclipse is a very solid team. You force their tanks onto anything besides Orisa Sigma, and there's trouble. And I think when it comes down to that tank play where Ryan is going to make a return, it's not going to be every map, but even when Ryan's going to be played, period, that plays in the Meteor's hand significantly more.
Taking HQC over Cryptic Force on that?
I take Jackson or Courage.
Do you think Courage plays the Ryan in that situation?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Over HQC.
So you think Eclipse is going to play dive in that situation?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't even matter what main tank they have on Rhine. They just beat Eclipse. You put Courage on off tank, he's better than an off tank that Eclipse has. You put him on main tank, he's a better main tank than Eclipse has. Their DPS, I think, will probably be better as well. And then Meteor support line is a tier upgrade from Eclipse. Eclipse are very good in this meta. I just don't know how good they're going to be outside of it.
I'm going to move the picture of Nick now.
Oh, wait. That's not the real Nick? Oh, okay.
Guys. This one was hard for me. It really was. I'm going to go Meteors 4-1. I just think Meteors is just a better team. Top to bottom. Eclipse, they've had a good run. They beat one last ride. Surprise one last ride. I think it ends here. I really do, especially on the new patch. I think the new patch spells doom for them. I think once you get J-Vice and Pyro on the different heroes, Pyro's Hanzo, we've seen how good his Hanzo is. He's a 3,900 DPS right now. He's better than the DPS we're seeing on the Eclipse.
So is Rocket, though.
I think Pyro's playing better right now. I really do. We'll see. It's gonna be tough. I do think 4-1. I really do. Then the match that Specs says will be an easy win for Tough Luck.
No.
Easy 4-0 for Tough Luck over Commit.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
I heard him say
that. He hasn't said that at all. He hasn't actually. I'll give him that. Tough Luck versus Commit. What do you think, NPC?
I gotta go Commit here. I mean, just Commit or Commit. They own all of the end of the season awards. They just across the board. I see them winning. Tough Luck, good team, but it's gonna fold any second, any moment now. I can feel it. They're not even gonna complete the series. It's gonna be 3-0, and then Tough Luck's gonna fold. So
the egos might come into
those
play
big
after
personalities. Big personalities.
What do you think, Nick?
Commit 4-0.
Whoa. Specs, I'm skipping you. We're gonna go ahead and just say this. I think it's hilarious that you kids are talking shit about Specs. You wouldn't say this to him at a LAN. He's jacked. And not only that, but he wears the freshest clothes and eats at the chillest restaurant, hangs out with all the hottest dudes. No, I'm just kidding.
The sign says. It says hottest dudes.
So, no, but really, I said Tough Luck during the prediction segment in the first one. And I'm going to stick with it. And it's not... This is a bit of a homer pick, and I'll be the first to admit that because they're our affiliate team. I do think that there is something to be said for the work that Tough Luck has put in to get to this point. And I think the key on that team is going to be how much that their tank line of Real and Kingdom can battle with the tank line of Marf, Exos, and Sarandy. Whoever wins that, I think, wins the match. I think Smugs and Bing and Anarchy pretty much cancel out what Axiom and Shiro are bringing to the table. I think supports are pretty even too. I think the tank line is the biggest question for me with Tough Luck, and it's not a shot on Kingdom. I think Kingdom's an outstanding main tank. We just haven't seen Real do enough yet in a match. And it's not that I don't think Real can do it. It's just that we've seen Sarandy be an outstanding tank, and we've seen Marf be outstanding, and we've seen Exos be outstanding. We've seen all three of them shine. We haven't seen Real shine yet. So for me, it's can he and Kingdom carry the load and really stand up to that frontline brutality that you're going to see from Commit? And can Smugs really shine like he did as Season 2 MVP? I think he can, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people are thinking. I do think Tough Luck's going to take it, and I think it's going to go the distance. I think it's going to be a 4-3 in map 8. It's going to be a hell of a match. So
I'm not going to... This is not a prediction with anything. I think at the Discord tier level, the meta is going to be more crucial towards the team's success than the Harmony tier. And no one knows what that meta is yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
PTR pugs with pro players don't make a meta.
Yeah.
Arissa Ryan isn't gonna be an Arissa like what Arissa Sigma is right now. Whatever one of the between us and Commit, whoever figures out the meta first and figures out how to play it better, I think is going to be, they're going to have a severe upper hand. So it's just getting there at this point.
I think as long as if the meta changes and Pharah is a part of the meta, I think you have to you honestly look at Tough Luck as a legitimate danger to win this match. Like a legitimate threat. But if Pharah isn't meta, I think the Hanzo battle is going to be a big thing there too. So we'll see. I predict Tough Luck. It's going to be close. So finally, last but not least, let's predict the champion for each tier, guys. Let's just get it out there. We have 4 teams left in each tier. Harmony tier, short and sweet. What do you think, NPC?
Oh my god. I predicted Undead Battery before. I'm going to pick Undead Battery again. As much as I want it to desperately be Jetpack Cats, I got to go to Undead Battery. I'm picking Jetpack Cats because they're the underdogs, and I love the underdog story. But I think Undead Battery actually have the best chance. Like Spec said, with the meta shifting, if the meta does go the way of like Reinhardt Orisa, Undead Battery have that in spades. They've got so many good Orisa and Reinhardt players. They can make that happen.
What do you oops, sorry, what?
So I feel like it's Undead Battery.
Nick, what do you think?
Do you even have to ask?
I do.
Illusion.
He called it. There he goes.
Okay. All right.
So Nick now rising to Specs level on the ego here all of a sudden. Wow, look at this guy. No, anyways. Specs, what do you think? Harmony tier.
To me, this isn't even a thought. It's jalapenos. Absolutely jalapenos. I think a meta change for them plays into their hand just because of how individually skilled they are at every position, at every level, compared to the other 3 teams left. I mean, even if they play on the current patch now for their match against Jetpack Cats, it'll be the new one for the finals, and they're just too individually skilled to be overlooked at this point.
It is the year of Terractin, boys and girls. The Undead Battery will be your Season 3 champions. I am calling it now. It is happening. My throat is giving out right now.
My man, right here.
But I'm going Undead Battery taking the championship Season 3. There's definitely going to be an illusion. That was for you, Nick. You weren't here for the first one, so.
I know.
All right, moving on. Discord tier, NPC.
I'm sticking with my original. I'm going to double down on the Meteors. I'm going to say it's the Meteors all the way. I think it's going to be Meteors and Commit, and I think it's going to go the distance. But I think Meteors, they want their win. They want it. The Meteors are going to take it.
Nick, what do you think?
Commit.
We have a Commit. We have a Meteors. Specs, you doubling down.
It'll be the winner of the Tough Luck Commit game. I won't say who. I just, this isn't to be harsh. Don't even count on Eclipse with this new meta. I think you have to absolutely take them out of the running here. Meteors have a very easy path to the finals. I think it's how they adapt to the meta for that final match.
Paging at Old Takes Expose on Twitter for that one.
And then I really think between us and Commit, one of us will have a better grasp on the meta than Meteors will. But we'll see.
I'm going to say Tough Luck. I don't have a reason. I'm just rolling with it.
We know your reason.
Yep, it's because I believe in Smugs. My faith in Smugs never dies, so...
Okay.
All right.
It's his mercy pocket.
My throat is literally giving way right now, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off the cast as we speak. For NPC, Nick, and Specs, Ski Free Eddie. See ya next, probably 2 weeks away.
Whenever.
4 kills for BDK Kid. Will you get the 5th one? But a big shatter from Juko High takes big play from O again, putting the Jetpack.
Invictus wins the match.
Massive blossom from Klaus getting into the back
An
line.
impressive job there by Infuse Gaming. Really
Full
smart.
hold for Careless Panda.
Alt F4 puts the
To pick up the third. Can he get a fourth?
First one will be rocking with the Death Blossom. Pick up one.
And now we see the Shadow Sepulchre triage coming down with the Death Blossom.
We got 3 on the point now, and inside.
Holy Jalapeno just rolled straight.
Using Maxis on the Soul.
This Karma's gonna take up this victory.
This on block picks up 3.
There will be illusion.
Arise, find 3 in the fight.
Full 6 Manzi.
Finding 4 with the Death Blossom.
Listening, and now you